Let's get into the semifinals coming up this weekend. Starting Saturday, we have Washington Spirit versus Portland Thorns. And let's get into the Tylenol injury report because Washington had some knocks from last week's game. Trinity Rodman Gonzalez said that she's progressing day by day. She's on track. Let's see how she ends the week. How do you guys feel Rodman's presence, even just being on the bench, the aura that she has, does for their team? Because last week I was like, there ain't no way she's playing. There is no way she's playing.
Really?
But I think even just no chance.
Yeah.
She had her rings stacked. She was looking
you mean
cute.
by the looks of her?
Yeah, and like we just saw her in a full brace. Like you're not doing that and then jumping into a match. I just thought there's no way she's playing. But I think what she brings on the sideline, not just for memes' sake, which was hilarious. I hope she never ever gets media trained. But I think just like her presence adds an edge to that team.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Do you think that her presence, even just being there, could be really influential, or do you think she'll get some minutes?
What do you think, Laura?
I think it's going to depend on the game. I think they're going to try to be as cautious as possible. And I agree with you. I mean, we were panning to her a lot, and just the aura of having Trinity Rodman on the bench, and just even the element of like for the other team, like can she come on at any second? Especially to change the course of the game, I think adds a different psychological aspect that many players in global women's soccer don't have in their favor. Yeah. So I very much expect her to be on the bench again. I don't think she'll start. And I also think it's just going to come down to what does the game look like? I don't think they had any intentions of putting her in. But I agree with you, Darian, like her vibe. And then the joke was, and I've seen a few other memes too, as soon as that whistle blew when Kingsbury made another save. I mean, I'm like, is there actually an injury to that leg still?
She, like, 90 windows. 100%. She was juking. Perfect. She was hopping over to swing the flag with Esme. I was like, she looks fine.
Yeah, I think they'll. It does sound like she is training more, partially in, partially out. But I think it'll just be one of those game time decisions. I mean, she wasn't even warming up. Actually, she had like the suit on. But when the pregame warm up, she was just standing on the sideline. So I didn't have any expectation, but that could change. But I think when you look at the other injuries too, they're going to have to shake some things up because it looked like Leon was in some, and we've seen people bounce back. So I don't want to speculate, but she looked to be in some considerable pain. Sounds like Carl's out completely. I mean, her hamstring in the first.
You knew it. You knew immediately when we saw it.
I actually think that's a huge loss for them too.
Me too. Yeah.
And like she has not gotten enough credit for what she's done. And we'll talk about the awards later, but I feel like she just quietly goes about her business and offers so much for them. So,
that's a good shout. Yeah.
No, I love her. I'd at least put her on second best 11. You know, she's not one of those flashy players, but she does her business. She's hard to beat twice. She's very quick, very diligent, organized. I think she's been really good
on both sides, right? Like she gets in, offers like a subtleness to the way that they play in terms of the width, and then also is a very good defender.
Very good defender. She can keep up with some of the best attackers on the right or the left. You know, it doesn't matter. She can keep up. But you know that moment, you just saw it on her face. Like, you know, like your hamstring just grabs and you know that you pulled it. And the look on her face was just devastation. Like she knew right away. Yeah. It was so sad. But I mean, as far as Trin is concerned, I agree. I don't think they had any intention in the quarterfinal of playing her because they thought that they could take care of Louisville without her. But I am wondering if
they almost didn't. That's why I'm like, they almost didn't do it.
But having her in the team environment on the bench with the team, you know, she's a big part of like just like the juice that they feel. Like she gives them a lot of hype, a lot of confidence, and even just like the threat to the other team to think, oh my gosh, they still might put Trin in at this moment. It does something to your psyche. So I'm sure she'll be on the bench again. I would love to see her get some minutes and get in there, but obviously not at the safety and risk of her. So.
Yeah, maybe it's more of we'd see her like later in the second half, get a couple minutes or something, at least with Trinity Rodman. With the other players though, between Tara McKeown, who looked like she was in a lot of pain with her ankle, that was a tough watch to watch her ankle kind of give. We've all been there. And Gabby Carl, those are two very, very consistent players in their back line. And this team has had a lot of knocks this year. I know that they're determined to get back to the final. They want vengeance from last year. They want to come and perform. They've gained momentum at the right moments in the season. Do you guys think they have the team to do it against Portland, who I think have been the team that's been underrated, but very quietly gained a lot of confidence with all of their very young players and Rob Gale losing his mind on the sidelines? Like, they have a lot of energy going into this match because, I mean, Mike, I kind of wrote them off at the beginning of the season and they totally proved me wrong.
I mean, here's my thing about the Spirit. They didn't rotate their lineup very much in the back line. So, I mean, Tara played 25 games out of 26. Like, she was always in there. Carl, same thing. So now it's those two people that you're so familiar and used to having. And that's going to be a big switch up in the most important game of the season. And for me, these are the times that you miss players like Casey Kruger, because she does add so much quality and depth in your back line. And that would be a natural and easy slide in. So it's like, now what do you do? Do you play a 3-back with Esme, Bernal, and Weisner? Or do you maybe put Paige Mateer at outside back and, you move Weisner to the left, put Paige to the right? Like, they're going to be forced with some questions that they haven't tinkered with earlier in the season at the most important time of the season.
Yeah, I can see them doing like maybe a Esme Morgan Bernal situation. And then, as you said, maybe Mateer or Abiodun, who played there. But I would imagine maybe they'd go with Mateer, just in the sense that when she came in on Saturday, I thought she was excellent and she covers so much ground. So I feel like it gives them a little bit of hybrid. You can still have essentially a 3-back like they play in their hybrid situation, and then Mateer can go. So it is going to be interesting from the standpoint of, does Washington have what it takes? I think the thing that was interesting about Washington is that they could have put that game away in the first half. And they could have done that against Orlando before the international break. And I feel like they're going to, here's why they're going to have to do that against Portland, because I think the biggest thing that Portland has done this year, and they've gotten better in the second part of the season, is they become much more stingy defensively, particularly Coffey and Fleming. They don't get separated. They stay compact, and that will suit them in this game. The issue with Portland is they don't have a ton of verticality outside of Raylan Turner, and so there's not like a huge threat. But that's where I feel like sometimes with Washington, they just they create these chances, but they don't put it away. And this is a Portland team I think is just gained a lot of confidence as of late, and they just keep going and they're finding ways. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But it's going to be about being clinical, in my opinion, for Washington.
Yeah.
So the longer the game goes is going to play in Portland's favor then.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. I think they're a team that gains a lot of confidence. And I'm looking at some of the matchups even, and I think, Bernal also, we're going to talk about her in our next segment. Criminally underrated, whether she's playing in the 6 or she's the center back. We'll chop that up more later, but there's a lot of, I think, the midfield battle between these sides, I think Portland's much more of a conservative midfield and Spirit have a much more aggressive, especially when, Lacey Santos, Corey Bethune are starting to connect and combine, and depending on who's operating in the 6, if it's Hal, if it's Bernal, what those rotations look like. To me, that's where the game is going to be won and lost between these two teams.
It is the midfield battle, as much as we like LOL about it's the midfield battle.
No, but truly, the Croy versus Coffey matchup, I'm super looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's going to have all the juice. But, watching that last match from the Spirit, when they scored early on and then it was taken away, I said to myself, oh, they could win this 3-0 right now. Like they're, but once that goal was taken away, it gave Louisville a breath of fresh air and life. And right after that, then they started like exercising that dog mentality that they usually do, because they got a lifeline, and then they got Spirit, and they, were getting gritty in the game. And that's what put the Spirit on their heels and leveled the game for them. But if that goal would have counted, I think the Spirit would have ran away with it. So I think an early goal will be important for the Spirit.
Yeah, that clinical aspect. Looking at both of these sides, I think both had a lot of change this year. Spirit, obviously, injuries. Portland, a lot of players just stepped away or left the team, whatever it may be. I mean, Sophia Wilson's that has a beautiful little girl. Who has to step up in this match? Because playoffs is such a different beast than the season of, it's been long. It's a different type of game. It's a different mentality, different level of intensity. Portland has a young team, but I'm looking at Olivia Moultrie as the one to step up and lead. Like, nothing phases her at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the player for you guys too. I mean, I know someone mentioned Sam Coffey, but to me, I think she's the one that actually defines the game on both sides of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in Moultrie's case, this is when players start to come alive and feel really comfortable with their 4th or 5th year in the league, right? Like, she's still very, very young, but she's been playing with the same squad in the league for a while, and she has a lot of pride, a lot of familiarity. She wants to take this team on her back now, and she's showing the ability to do that. I think where she goes, Portland goes, because she's that engine there. When she's having a good game, usually the rest of the team follows. And it's a large responsibility for a young player, but she's doing it, and she's making a difference, whether she's assisting or scoring or just, getting into positions that make the other team sweat. She really has a very good football brain for how youthful she is.
Yeah. I mean, that's the player. I also would put Raylan Turner in there, because when we were making the point about, I can see them being smart defensively, making it difficult for there to be a lot of space for Washington to operate, and they're going to need to have an outlet. And I think Moultrie could be that first line or that first pass, but you need to have somebody threatening in behind, and really that player is Raylan Turner. So it's just going to be about her timing her runs, finding which side makes the most sense, because I do, as we had previously said with Washington, there is a side that they usually leave a little bit more available in terms of if they push somebody high. So just finding Raylan Turner on one of those sides where she can exploit some of that space potentially, I think will be the most advantageous for them. But I think that needs to kind of be the game plan, and she's going to have to be in tune with Moultrie.
The player on Washington side is Kouassi for me.
You love her, and
I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah,
I am obsessed with her. I thought she was incroyable in their last match. She didn't get tired. She was bombing up and down the field. She was box defending. She was setting up everything. She ultimately got the assist. If I'm Portland, I'm trying to shut her down, because especially if Rodman's out, that's the player that can break us.
Yeah.
She's a joy to watch, but she also does the work. You know what I mean? When a player gets the ball, you're like, ooh, something exciting is going to happen. But she also, when you're not looking at her, when she's off the ball, she's doing the work. I've been loving Kouassi, and I agree with the Raylan Turner, but Torden, especially like we said, the longer the game goes on, good. I love her. The longer the game goes on, sub her in, let her be all busy and magical and all the things. Like, she'll bring that energy. And if it's still 0-0, put that girl on the field,
Yeah. Great point. And then going back to Kouassi, though, I feel like not only does she put in the work, her timing, like she pops in. I felt like she made it so difficult for Racing Louisville to defend her. And that was part of the issue in the first half, because there was a lot of ground for Taylor Flint to have to cover. And I think she got a little bit caught, like, who am I actually picking up? And then Kouassi did a really good job of just pinching in at the right time. And then that allows for like the overlap. So, I mean, the width is the primary look, I feel like, for Washington when they attack, especially when Trin's in. So Kouassi can, as you mentioned, Darian, can be that player. But I do think they're going to have to be patient. They're going to have to be smart to be able to break down, and the movement to play off of one another has to be crisp too.
Yeah, I agree. Well, our favorite part of the matches, what are your guys' predictions? Lori, let's start with you. What's your prediction for this one? How do you think it's going to go between Spirit and Portland?
Yeah, goodness.
At Rowdy Outy.
Yeah, I know. Sold out Rowdy Outy, which is going to be, and they're all wearing yellow. I feel like we've done like a blackout before, but I don't know if we've done the yellow. So
I said they need to be like, is it Dortmund and have a yellow wall? Like, they have neon yellow. It should be a force. Yeah.
I'm hoping for goals, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go on record by saying, because Portland I've been a huge fan of Portland all season. I've just liked their trajectory. I like that they've been able to quickly rebuild in real time after losing so many important players last year. So I do have a soft spot for them. I've said that all season. But I think the record away from home hasn't been tremendous. And at Rowdy Outy, I'm going with Washington 2-1. It makes me want to puke.
That's good. That's good.
Lori, I thought you were doing like a little make the stallion, like
No, I wish. I was barf.
No, the sick kind of
Yeah.
McCall, what do you got? Are you feeling the same vibes?
I mean, I'm hesitant to make a prediction before I see the full availability report. I think the injuries are going to be kind of the big part. even like an MA, right? We didn't mention MA Vignola, but if she's back, they're gonna need her. I think, you know, there's nothing like her, and she'll keep up with the best on those flanks. You know, Spirit's a good footballing team. They had 66 possession last game, 66%. So they'll keep the ball away from Portland, but Portland's gritty. They'll hang in there. So I think it's going to be small margins, 1-0 at the end, Spirit.
Ooh.
Mm.
I'm rocking with Lori. I'm gonna say 2-1. I think we'll have some goals. I think it'll be an exciting game, but rowdy, there's gonna be more than one.
We love that.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I can't wait to see the
So
yellow.
let's just go 3-2. Give us some action, people. Give us
Yeah,
that.
I think goals. 3-2. Why not? I can go 3-2. Shout out to Trey, who put a poll up here on our YouTube, and the chat thinks that Spirit will win. 62% of the chat believes that. So they're kind of rocking with us. Appreciate that.